This is the trade deadline news. This is our trade season. All right.
Fires up the three. He broke his ankles. Now he's got
Everybody, Sean says that this is a divorce in real time, and that is completely right. We're talking about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley. It's bonkers. That's what I'm saying. That's the word that I'm saying. It's bonkers. Now, Pat Riley is undefeated. And boy, oh boy, is Jimmy trying to break that, but he didn't. That's for sure. And Pat Riley has the best method, and it's being petty. It's been seen time and time again. Uh, so instead of the stages of grief, it's the stages of Pat Riley being a petty, petty guy. Now, let's see. I got it written down. I got a bunch of stuff written down, but this is what we're covering first. No, we're not trading you. Now, this time it happened to be publicly, which, all right, then you knew. Let's get out the popcorn. This is going to be good. And then in the case of Dwayne Wade, no, we aren't signing you for the money you want. They squabbled over a very small amount of money. Pat holds out. In this case, it wasn't that long, but he always does. And then eventually, he gives in. He's like, all right, because Pat cannot handle losing what he's put money into. And sometimes football is a great example with Russell Wilson. The Broncos cut their losses and were like, whatever. You could suspend Jimmy Butler for the rest of the year. Okay? You could do that. Or in the case of Pat Riley, you're going to try to trade him for probably pennies on the dollar, but we'll get to that. Let's show the suspension timeline. Now, the 3rd of January, he's suspended for 7 games. He comes back on the 17th, and from the 17th to the 21st, 13 points per game, 3.3 rebounds. Then afterwards, he's suspended for 2 games on the 22nd for missing a flight to Milwaukee. Well, you know what? I don't want to go to Milwaukee either. But you know what? Sometimes we don't always get what we want. And then on the 27th, he's suspended indefinitely for walking out of practice. Now, we've seen that before. Cue Minnesota. And also, I'm gonna add, are we are we still saying that Cat was soft in that instance? I don't think so. Wiggs is soft? Seems like Jimmy's the one who's soft. God, I hate that term. It sucks, but that's what's going on. So that puts us at trades. It might have been Sean's, or it actually might have been Brian Windhorse who said that his price is going down, and that's true. His price is going down, but his contract certainly isn't. These are a few teams I've heard who are trying to make a bid for Jimmy. Apparently, all teams are calling, but that's what happens every trade deadline. Everybody calls everybody. It's a big thing. Hey, come over to my house for dinner. Hey, you want to trade me somebody? That's essentially how it goes. He wants to go to the Suns, it seems. He's been wearing Suns colorway shoes. Now, that's tough. That's a tough place to get because you have to move Bradley Beal. 50 million on Bradley Beal's contract, and he has a no trade clause. Can you get him to waive it? Where does that leave Phoenix? Phoenix needs to bring in a third team, in my opinion, to get this trade done properly. The perfect team and a team that's been coming up recently is the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, who apparently wants to go to San Antonio, but again, sometimes you don't always get what you want. You could see, you could possibly see the Miami Heat want to take on Fox as a rental. Or does Pat Riley decide, all right, Bradley Beal's making not that much more than Jimmy was. Why don't I just take on his contract? I don't think either move is smart, and I personally don't think a Suns deal gets done because I don't think Pat's going to give Jimmy what he wants at all. Where does that leave us going next? The Warriors enter the chat. The Warriors have said that they don't necessarily want to trade anybody. I've actually been very vocal about it to mortgage the future to give Steph another run. And you know what? That is absolute crap. You've got to give Steph another run. There's still time to get, to give him another run. I'm gonna pull it up. We're pulling it up in real time. All right, as of time of recording, the Warriors 11th in the West, 24 and 23. If they are 13 and a half games back, but so are the 10 seeded Kings, and you get to the seventh seed Timberwolves, and they're only 11 games back. So they win a few games, and some other teams, lose a few, and there they are. They're back in contention. Now, are you going to seriously sacrifice Steph's, I don't know, final important years of production to, develop young guys who you aren't even developing? Then you ask yourself, okay, so we move some people. Probably he's got to move. I said in the last video, Buddy Hield. Would the Miami Heat want to take on Buddy Hield's contract? I don't know. There's a meme out there with it's this like cycle with Buddy Hield, and the cycle is true. And I don't think that Pat will want to take on that contract. Jonathan Kuminga, I'd want him. I think that Eric Spoelstra could maximize him, but will the Warriors trade someone who they spent such a high pick on who's not James Wiseman? Possibly, but it kind of seems like they're not interested again. But this trade it has to benefit Steph, no matter what. And well, guess what? The Jimmy Butler effect. When he's happy, he plays well. We've seen it. And I think he might put the Warriors over the top. Championship level? Maybe not. A few people would have to step up. Second round exit, if you're lucky, that's not bad. It shocked the hell out of me when I saw it. It's the reunion that we didn't know we need. Jimmy to the 76ers. They've got a few contracts that they could move. And one, as you can see right here, one that is, I think it's a go-to. So you could move KJ Martin, 24 years old, 7.9 million this season. Now all of these are this year. I looked into things. I didn't look into the things this much. Come on. Kelly Oubre Jr., 29 years old, 7.9 million this year. I'm not, exactly going extra specific. We're keeping it a round number here, folks. And then Eric Gordon, 3.3 million, 36 years old. I would want Kelly Oubre personally. I would take KJ Martin as well. And then you get to Paul George. The question is, do you say that the Paul George experiment was a failure? I am bringing my thoughts into it immediately, which I said I wouldn't do, but sometimes you lie. Yes, absolutely it was a failure. You you tried. You really did. I'm not saying that to be an asshole. You tried as an organization to get us, well, at this point he's a role player, but you tried really hard to get a third star, and I personally thought you did a good job. And then he didn't play well. Pandemic P is still here. Podcast P is still here. It sucks. It really does. Because I really like Paul George quite a bit. Watching that leg injury in real time, that was a lot. But anyways, and right here, you cannot add picks into the trade machine, but one for one, Paul George for Jimmy Butler. Does Pat Riley take this contract on? I don't know. You get a guy who goes to another competitive market in Miami, and he plays for a coach that is really, really good in Eric Spoelstra. I think it would benefit Paul George. I think he could get his production up, and you're not looking for Paul George to be the guy if you're in Miami. It's Tyler Hero, who's damn, he's really, really playing well right now. I am super impressed. Shout out Tyler Hero. You stick him there, you stick him next to Tyler Hero, you stick him next to Bam, and I think he does really, really well, and I think he actually can be that third star that he was trying to be in Philadelphia. Now, Jimmy to the 76ers, you got Jimmy playing with Embiid again, who, to my memory, Joel Embiid and Jimmy Butler got along really well, and Butler really liked playing with Embiid. And you put Butler next to a guy like Tyrese Maxey, and you legitimately need to look out for the 76ers in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler on the 76ers puts them, depending on where they are, on the side of the playoff bracket into the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics or the semis against the Celtics. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that my team's going to lose in a 7-game series against the 76ers with Jimmy Butler, but I am going to say that it'll go 6 minimum. Don't think Pat Riley's going to send him anywhere that he really wants to go. Um, Windhorst said that middle of the road teams are going to be looking to pick him up. Yeah, he's probably going to go to a middle of the road team and he won't want to be there and it'll be a whole thing, and that's fine. It is what it is. The final question really is, and because we've got to think about all the sides here, people, is can we believe Jimmy Butler's side at this point? The track record is pretty shaky after Chicago. You've got things not really working out in Minnesota. I personally think if he would have kept his attitude in check, you would still be there now. And he'd be playing with Ant, and they'd probably be making it along pretty easy in the West right now if Jimmy Butler was there, but he's not. Of course he's not. And then after that, you've got the 76ers, which didn't last long, and then you've got the Heat, which lasted quite a while, and granted, I think the championship window for the Heat with Jimmy Butler's closed, but that doesn't matter. We're talking about can we believe him? I don't think we can really believe much of what Jimmy is saying right now just because of like the things that he said in the past and the behavior he exhibited last year after the Heat were eliminated from the playoffs. I don't believe it for a second. The last thing I want you to do is consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. It's the new year. It's Clutch Chronicles personal YouTube channel, and we are trying to get to, you know what? Let's shoot for the stars. We're gonna try to get to 500 subs by the end of the year. On top of that, if you've made it this far in the video to the very end, thank you very much. And why don't you comment your MVP this year? You'll see my pick for the MVP as well, and we all know Blake wants Joker. And that's who it'll probably be. But anyways, this has been Clutch Chronicles, everybody. The Ballad of Jimmy Buckets. You ever but whoa, I'm keeping that in because that was a stumble on the words. Everybody, you have a good day. See ya.
But, you know, I poke bears.